I haven't got a clue if anybody's going to join me tonight. This is very impromptu. I've only just this minute got home. So I didn't know what time I was going to be home tonight. Didn't know what time it was all due to finish, but we've had a really, really pleasant evening. Um, my daughter plays women's football to a good level. Um, Apparently, there's one person in chat, but that one person has disappeared straight away, and now it's showing 0. So I'm talking to myself. So anybody who joins me, it's completely up to you. Completely up to you. I don't know how long I'll be on for, but oh, somebody's liked my post. There we go. Halakar's in. Straw Piglets liked my post in Discord. So there might be 2 of you, and there's one. maybe you were like, how did it go tonight? Right. We've done 3 of these fundraisers at my daughter's football club. Good evening, Daniel. Good evening. If you want to join me, there's a link in there. Halakar Daniel, there's a link in there if you want to join me. Anybody who wants to join me, there's a link in the usual place. We've done 3 of these fundraisers in the last 3 years. And the idea is it's a race night. So a guy turns up with a load of DVDs of old horse races. And there's 10 on each DVD. Fair enough, Alakar, don't worry. There's about 10 horse races on each DVD, and he's got about 20 of them. And he picks a random DVD. Someone picks a number from 1 to 10, and that race is what's on next. So we know nothing about the horses. It's just completely random. 8 horses in every race. And you just bet on like a tote. And the club takes a percentage. It's as simple as that. So it's almost impossible to win any money because there's such a heavy leaning towards the tote. But what's always fun is the last race. The last race, the way it goes through the evening, the first 7 races, people pay, I think it's £10 a horse, and get to name the horse. And if their horse wins, they win a bottle of wine, but the rest of the money goes to the club. So it's quite good. The last race, everyone bids for a horse. And I always take about £20 with me, and that's my limit. And I will bid for a horse on the last race. Last year, I successfully got a horse for 20 quid, and my horse won, and I won about 150, which was really nice. This year, well, I'm down about 40 quid. So it'll take me 3 years to lose what I won last year. But of course, you give a bit back to the club, and it's all good because you put money behind the bar. Hello, Grim Squirrel. How buzzed am I? 5 pints. Nothing too major. Just merry, just smiley. But no, it's a good night out. Everyone has a few drinks, and everyone cheers on their horses, and money's made for the football club. And what's nice is at the club my daughter plays for, if you imagine the English league system, you've got Premier League, Championship, First Division, Second Division, and then it goes into various sort of national, regional leagues. That's the men's structure. In the women's, you've got Super League, Championship, Division 1. Then National League Premier, National League Division 1. So the men's club, it's not the Seraphis. I'm old now. I haven't built up the tolerance. That's the thing. I had a decent tolerance when I was younger, but these days 5's enough to get me just sort of nicely. I will sleep well when I go to bed in a bit. So I'm not going to stream very long. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Doing all right. How about you?
Very well, thank you.
Good to hear you had a good night.
Thank you, Grim Squirrel, and thank you, Daniel. I have a lovely smile. But no, the club my daughter plays for, in men's football, playing about tier 9, which is way down the structure. But in women's football, they play in tier 4, which is pretty high. It's the equivalent of a club in men's football that gets about 10,000 spectators per game. And in women's football, okay, it's 500 or 600 a game. Our club is really little. We get about 60 or 70 spectators a game. We're in a division where the clubs are getting 10 times the spectators, thus 10 times the revenue per game. So for them to even be in that division is amazing. And because the club's so small. And for them to not to finish last in the division is even more amazing. And for them to have visions of going up to the division above is even better. They played a friendly the other night against West Bromwich Albion, who are a top 30 or 40 club in Britain. And they only lost 2-1, I think. So it's
Stop chatting shit and let me in, you knob.
Shut it,
Hello,
Iman.
everybody.
I'm going to mute you till
this,
you calm
this
down.
is an honest question.
What's that?
If they go up in category, or however they call it, can they be competitive in that in the next division?
In theory, yes. In practice, they're going to need more money.
Yep.
Because
That's
in the level
usually the
above,
problem.
yeah, half the teams in their current level are fully professional. In the level above,
okay.
in the level above, they're all professional. My daughter's team are semi-professional, which means they get paid a small amount if they play. And it is a small amount. It's about 30 quid.
Yeah, it's probably not even enough to cover the equipment. So yeah.
Just about. So that is the big difference. But so if the fact that the first team finished mid-table in the 4th division last year was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter plays for the development team, which is the youngsters. She's 20, and most of the development team are 19, 20, 21.
That would be for like America, and
I've switched.
Iman would understand this because he's in Toronto, I believe. They have a baseball team.
Iman's
we have double A, single A baseball. And they're all farm leagues. Imagine air quotes around that. You get to triple A, they might pay you $75 a game.
Yeah.
It's barely enough to make rent. But
yeah, exactly.
But if you get to triple A, then your next step, you're in the major leagues.
Yeah. Well, she's probably one level below that because she's in the reserves. She plays for the reserves, the development team. She's only just 20.
Amazing. It honestly is.
And there's a long way to go yet. There's a long way to go in how she.
Well, she's got 9-10 years before she hits her physical prime.
Well, yeah. But they're a young team. The first team are a young team as well, so they're all learning. She was picked for the first team about 6 or 7 times last season. Probably going to be the same, similar again this year. It all depends on injuries and whether people are transferred away or bought in or whatever, and what happens in her position because she's got a specific position that she plays.
What's if they've got,
she's an attacking midfielder. So
all right. So over here we call it a center. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she's an aggressive player. She creates goals rather than scores them. But her job is to put pressure on the opposing defenders.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, I played for years, so I understand exactly. I was in center for a while, and then I went to right wing. I don't know what you guys call it, but
right wing, yeah, right wing is fine. Yeah. So anyway, we've raised a bit of money tonight. I mean, I won about £150 last year, of which I gave about 40 straight back to the club. This year I've lost about 40. It's one of those things. It's a bit of fun. I mean, between me, my wife, and my son, we've probably spent a decent amount of money there. But we've had a good night out. That's how it is, and it raises money for the team. It keeps the team going.
Oh,
Right, let's have a
I was getting
look.
sad because I didn't think you were streaming, but I've just finished playing Heroic with Saxius and the lads.
Oh, cool. I'm just going to say hello to everyone in chat. Then I want to find out about your
same.
game. Hello, Paul Morgan. 5 pints and money raised for a good. I mean, this is the first time I've seen your name in chat, so welcome. 5 pints of money raised for a good cause. Sounds like a good night. Yes, it was. It was a good night.
Yeah.
Dan's like, is that all?
5 pints. Hell, I had 3 before I went to work today.
I've got work tomorrow. Okay, I've got to drive 8 miles to work at 8:30 in the morning in 9 hours from now. So I'm not gonna go silly. Yeah. Hello, you're wrong. There was a fundraiser tonight. Yes. Did I see the news out of Wizards of the Coast? No, I haven't seen it. To be honest, I don't follow news from Wizards of the Coast unless someone says, "Oh, they're kicking off again." They replaced a self-hating white guy with another self-hating white guy. So I know Kyle Brink has gone, and he was a knobhead. So I think they just brought another knobhead in. Well, fair enough. I'm still not going to buy their stuff.
Who's here?
The dude they hired at Wizards of the Coast helped ruin Worlds of Warcraft. Oh, well done, Wizards of the Coast. That's really clever of you.
Yeah, they've been trying to kill that company for years.
Yeah. Hello, Squirrel. Hello, Sebon, Sebon, whatever you want to pronounce that. 4th edition part 2 on the way. Well, yeah, maybe. May well be. Yeah, they really want to digitize D&D, don't they? They want to sort of break it down into little snippets and sell you this little bit of content and this little bit of content, and you buy a fighter and it costs you extra $2 for this subclass, another $2 for that subclass, and before you know
no, not microtransactions.
Oh yes, of course, they're bringing all of that to D&D.
I thought video games were the only proponent of that.
No, that bollocks, because apparently, according to the Hasbro management last year, D&D is under monetized.
Sure it is.
When a book is $60.
Yeah. I've been plus one sword for $1. I haven't bought any. The last thing I bought from Wizards of the Coast was Xanathar's Guide. And I bought that. I know it was released in about 2018. I bought it in early 2020 because we switched to playing a game online, and I thought, well, I'll run 5th edition because it's easy to run on Roll20. It's all built in there. And one of my players wanted to run a class that was in Xanathar's Guide. I thought, it won't hurt to buy that. I've heard there's some good ideas in there, and yes, there is some good ideas in the book, but it really was a sense of power creep. Really was a sense of power creep for the classes. There's a lot of good stuff in there regarding DM's ideas, but all the classes and everything it gives to the players are it's nonsense. It goes too far.
You had a wee?
Yes.
Did you piss on the toilet seat?
Not as far as I know. I didn't know I left the toilet seat.
You lifted it?
Yeah.
Then it's you, Jake. You denied it.
Sorry, my wife just wanted to know who'd had a wee on the toilet seat, and it's my son.
Oh no!
Actually, no, I didn't have a wee. Just bear with me. Beck, no, I didn't. I went before before we left.
Huh?
I haven't had a wee since we came back. I went before I left. We have a fine system in this house. If you despoil the bathroom, and I went before I left. I just remembered. So it's my lad who's weed all over the toilet seat.
Oh, typical.
Not only has he lost £2 on every race tonight, he didn't have a single winner. He's now been fined £2 for piddling on the toilet seat.
Naughty. Well, it was only going to be the men, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. I lift the toilet seat when I go to the toilet anyway.
Same, because we're civilized.
Yeah. But going back to 5th edition D&D. I mean, I don't think it's a bad game if you use the core rules, the basic options of classes and you play low level stuff, because there is still the peril there, which makes D&D enjoyable. At least I enjoy the perilous side of D&D, not the superhero side. But once you get beyond about level 4, it goes bonkers, and especially if you use all the newer books. And that's where, and the biggest problem is you get to level 4 or 5 far too quickly. By the standard experience points tables, you can be there within 5 or 6 sessions. And it's like, what? It was 5 or 6 sessions to get to second level in old school days, sometimes more. And you'd have to fight your way through to get there.
You're wrong, says he recently purchased the first 3 Lone Wolf books and the OSC core book.
Oh, well done. Well done. You're wrong. Hello, PBR Street Gang. That's another new name.
But to your point about levels, how long have I been playing Angus? It's been a year at least.
About a year.
A year, yeah.
About a year, and you're level 5, and you're the highest level of everybody.
Yeah, and it's taken, and that's every week.
And you make an excuse to play Angus every week at every game wherever possible.
I try to.
Yeah, so it's every week, sometimes twice a week.
Sometimes twice a week. Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
Fundraising went really well, Jeb. Really well. So, hello, Andy.
I'm not bragging about Angus. What I'm saying is it's taken at least a year, sometimes twice a week, just to get them to 5th level.
As it should, though.
Well, the thing with Angus as well is, you rolled stats in front of me, and I can confirm that you rolled you rolled maximum Constitution. You rolled an 18. What was it? +1 for being a dwarf or something? I can't remember. I think you rolled a 17 and got a +1 for being a dwarf.
Then I maxed out the first.
And then
levels.
And then your first level you maxed out for hit points. Your second level you maxed out for hit points, and then your third level you maxed out for hit points. So, and a dwarf cleric, you had 27 hit points at level 3. That's why Angus survived. He's got no strength. His strength is average. His dexterity is average. His intelligence is average. He's got a decent wisdom. He's got a very high constitution, and he's got an average charisma. And he's just very survivable. Yeah. And that's why. Okay, you rolled 1 hit point for level 4, plus your 3 for your constitution, but you're still on 31 at level 4, and then you rolled average, I think, for level 5. So you're going into adventures now with 35 plus hit points, alongside a lot of level 2 or 3 characters who've got like 8 to 10 hit points on average. So obviously we use and abuse you as a frontline tank. And then when you've been hit and you've expended your cure spells, we run away. So that's how it's working. You got that luck early on. It made Angus really survivable, and you've survived.
My thing is it took me that long and that many sessions,
of course, yeah,
to get him there, and I have no issue with that. I think that's how it should be.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
of course
you
it is.
should have to work to have your character get there. I mean, like Orlog sucked. He stepped into a bad situation,
and he got mashed. He got completely mashed. Yes. I mean, I've had several first level characters die, but I've managed to keep all of mine that have made level 2 alive. And at the moment, I've got a level 2 dwarf fighter, a level 2 human paladin, and a level 3 human druid.
Don't you have the cleric also?
I haven't got a cleric. No.
Somebody has. Or who has the paladin?
Me. I've got the paladin.
Right. Okay, that's the one that runs around with Angus.
It is, yeah. But he's only got about 12 hit points compared to Angus's 30 something. So every time you're like, no, that's Albertus. Okay. So every time Angus goes, right, come on, Albertus, we're going to charge. I'm like,
yeah, no.
No, hell
no.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony. Yes. Whose high school's name? My high school. I went to a high school called King Edward's. King Edward's.
Why do you recognize him?
I don't know. No, I don't remember. I don't know.
He might have just come across your stream and be like, I swear I went to school with this guy.
No, I went to a high school in Birmingham called King Edward.
IQ, are you going to be doing any streams at all? Like tonight or tomorrow? Tomorrow will be gaming, so yeah.
Sunday.
No. What?
Hopefully.
Sunday? All right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, so Daniel, I mean, you lost Orlog when he was level 2. You lost one of your hirelings you sort of took on as a second character. Yeah. I lost my first paladin who had 4 constitution. And I lost my bard who got resurrected. So he's back alive again. Iman hasn't lost anybody. I know.
I've only played like, single digit amount of sessions.
What's my teacher's name?
What the?
Why do you want to? I mean, it was 34 years ago when I left school, Anthony. So.
Like you'd remember.
Anthony, you're sketching me out, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, but no.
No,
my high school's name does not feature in any of my security questions, Anthony. So there you go. So you're happy to know King Edward's School. It doesn't feature in any of my security questions. So if that's what you're fishing for, then it won't help you. It won't help you. My mother's maiden name won't help you either. No, that's not in any of my security questions. So there.
Yeah, this dude's trolling.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like it. Do I have another question? Not that you're going to find out about because you're being timed out. Goodbye.
The Banhammer has spoken.
There we go. There we go. Yep.
When
Anthony, goodbye.
Our regular Sunday group. No, this
Hey, Straw Piglet, I'll give you one guess what my favorite color is.
Purple.
Dan, come on, man. It doesn't take that much thinking.
I do quite like purple, but Anthony Tang has been banned and their comments were removed.
There's a 69 convertible Corvair that is plum purple for sale on the way to work. And I'm like, I want that car so bad.
Well, Squirrel Hermit's the closest.
Every day on the way to and from work, I point at the car and my wife just nods her head and says, yeah, I know.
Oh, Call of Cthulhu. Someone's talking about Call of Cthulhu.
Jeb's got a Call of Cthulhu character creation question. Jeb, ask it. I created multiple Call of Cthulhu characters last night. And they were converted characters. If you don't know Bear's game that he's been running with Palladium, he's got fed up with Palladium. So he's going to switch it to Cthulhu Dark Ages. And I had the job of, I converted my character, I helped Iman convert his, and I converted Max's character. So, yeah,
well done,
gooey,
Paul.
creepy Tharistan purple is good. Yes, Iman's favourite colour is green. Very much green.
It's pretty much always been green, though.
When we went to the UK Games Expo, Iman was not happy until he'd bought a set of green dice.
That funny thing is...
And what was I debating on, John? Which kind of green I wanted.
You were, yeah. We were stood at this one stand which had about 4 or 5 different really nice green ones. And you were there for about 5-10 minutes going, which one shall I get? Which one do you think I should get? And I was like, get the ones you like.
I like them all.
I like them all. I was like, well, buy them all then. I haven't got money for them all. Well, just buy the ones you like most then. Which ones
I don't know which one I like the most.
Yeah.
I have a set of dark green sparkly dye, and then I have a set of light green glow in the dark, which are awesome. And I use the glow in the dark most whenever I say, guys, I'm having issues and I have to roll real. That's the set I use, is the glow in the dark one.
Jeb, yes, you do.
Do you want to? So the number in brackets is the base skill. So any points you add would add to that.
For example, spot hidden starts at 25. If you want to add 25 points to that, you start with a spot hidden of 50.
And you write 50 in the box.
And you write 50 in the box. Yes.
I am doing the learnings of how to do a keeper as well.
He is, yes. Iman's first ever game as a GM is going to be a game of Call of Cthulhu. He's going to run it on Discord. He's going to run it mostly Theatre of the Mind. I'm going to sit in the background to
silent
run this.
Yeah. And I've suggested the adventure for him to run. It's one of the first ones I ever ran, and I've read it 3 times, and I love it.
I think what I figured out what I like about it so much, John, it has a very horror movie feel, but not like a B horror movie, like a proper horror movie.
Oh, it's a survival horror, isn't it? It's survival horror.
Come on. When are you going to run this?
Oh, it's going to be in a month from now. I'm not going to do it till we're done with Horror on the Orient Express.
Okay. All right, cool. Because if you have room, I'd love to be in it.
I mean, I can definitely consider you, but I'm ideally looking for 4 players, and I've got 6 people interested, including you.
Then not a problem. Don't worry.
No. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying it's one of those that I want to include everyone, but I can't.
No, because between the game I play on my tablet and my phone, and then we do Monday, Friday, Saturday, some Sundays, I'm plenty busy, so that's not an issue at all. If you need somebody, let me know.
I mean, Andy is right. Months, you're talking next year at least.
Well,
I don't know.
Next year is only in 6 months.
One thing you might have noticed with the Horror on the Orient Express is each scenario is now starting to take a little bit longer, because you're getting a little more cautious and a little more nervous, and more things are being found out about your characters, and you're leading into more role play. And gone are the days when we can get a scenario done in 2 sessions for most of the scenarios. I mean, the last one we have about 5 sessions. So I think it's going to take a little longer to get through the second half of book 2. But 4 is the ideal number for that scenario. One group of 4 is perfect.
For my first game, I can't have really any more than that. It would be too much for me to try and focus on.
And having run that scenario 3 times, I would say 4 was about right. I would think it'd be cumbersome with any more.
Yeah.
You're wrong, says Cthulhu Mythos confuses the hell out of me. I'm scared to play it.
Okay, so we've been playing Horror on the Orient Express for 6 months, week in, week out, and none of us have any Cthulhu Mythos. Actually, I think Andy might have some.
Cthulhu Mythos is a skill in the game. I mean, the Cthulhu Mythos in terms of
you always start with 0.
Yeah, but in terms of the whole idea of the Cthulhu Mythos, in terms of the player, it is an odd concept. The idea of
otherworldly beings,
otherworldly horror, but you basically just need to play it to find out what it's like. Because Harold is getting more adventurous indeed. In a good Call of Cthulhu campaign, if it's a long running campaign, it'll be a bit of a drip. And what you encounter early on will be a lot more
tame.
A lot more. Well, I'd say more tame, more simplistic.
Relatively speaking,
you're more likely to find things like dead bodies early on, and the odd little clue to something odd happening. You won't get all the really weird shit for a while in a good campaign, but by then you'll be prepared for it, and that's
the way that John runs it, at least. Which, I mean, I've never played with anyone else who runs it, but it's very slow burn. But there's very few moments where the horror dissipates. It's constantly there, and that's what it's like. It's about the atmosphere, isn't it? There's moments where the horror ramps up and it ramps down, but it's never gone, ever.
Straw Piglet, with Call of Cthulhu, as with any role-playing game, success is quite simply having fun. You need to accept the fact that your character's mortality is very much on the line. all the time. And you need to accept that there is a slow descent into madness, but it is fun playing the slow descent into madness. And I look forward, if I'm playing a game of Call of Cthulhu, I look forward to the time when my character's sanity is dropping to 30, 20, 15, because that gives me a real chance to use my imagination.
Squeaky bum time, that.
Yeah, but that's the enjoyment for me.
Yes.
When you start thinking, okay, how do I sort of twist this in an insane manner and behave? What Andy's doing at the moment, dying in style. I've broken the rules of Call of Cthulhu to allow Andy to keep playing his character. His character Harold, a couple of sessions ago, hit 0 sanity. Now, according to the rules of Call of Cthulhu, that means your character is out of the game. But we agreed that Andy could continue to play Harold as long as he lent into that insanity. And I think he's doing a great job of it, because he's playing him as if he firmly believes the nonsense he's saying. And he's utterly forthright and truthful. He just believes in absolute bullshit because his mind has gone. So his sense of logic is logical, but in a very, very skewed manner. And he's playing it really nicely.
His brain is creating delusions and also finding reasons to justify them.
Yeah, to justify those delusions. Yes. And I mean, while Andy's doing that, I'm happy to... He turned into a politician. I'm happy to let him keep going with that, as long as he accepts next time that there is a big sanity loss, it will be bye-bye Harold. But he's not playing carefully now, so that it'll be sooner rather than later that Harold really has a serious sanity loss.
Well, he's thrown all caution to the wind, hasn't he?
Of course he is, but that's the way to do it. We've had 2 sessions of it throwing caution to the wind. He hasn't suffered yet, so well, he's been a bit lucky so far, perhaps. But hey.
So anyway, you're wrong. Yeah, Cthulhu Mythos isn't what scares you. That's just a stat.
Yeah, but Cthulhu Mythos in the fictional sense is Lovecraft's work, basically.
Oh, is he talking about as a concept?
Possibly, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
okay. In that case, so. Yeah, I can understand. Yes, the porridge is the food of the cultists. We all know this.
It's the porridge. It is indeed the porridge, yes. And the people who are into knitting.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, knitting, yes.
So, yeah, I mean, without spoiling anything, the things that we saw when we started the adventure in London were very tame compared to what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They started off finding their friend who suffered in a house fire, and there was a dead body in the library that had a piece of skin removed. Things like that.
Mercurius.
You start,
Menacing
Mercurius.
Owl, Journal M, Richard Payan, Melvin Willikers, and Tang 1054.
Oh, well, there you go. There we go.
All hail the Corn Thulu.
Halakar's putting in a plug for free DCC Day tomorrow. If you are a player of Dungeon Crawl Classics, then participating stores are giving away free stuff. I'm not a DCC player, but I support Goodman Games, and Goodman Games do a good job of pushing the old school style of play. So support them, support their stuff. They've done some good stuff in recent years. Right, so there's Mercurius. There is the mighty Mercurius. Seraphis, there are 2 Australians in chat at the moment. I know it's silly o'clock in the morning for you guys, but it's silly o'clock for Mercurius as well, because he's also Antipodean like yourself. So Seraphis, if you haven't already met him, meet Mercurius. There we go. And
No.
don't start swearing at each other.
They
because
might
that's
have been
what
on Bear's stream, I think.
possibly.
If they're in Australia, they're probably getting ready for work.
Well, it's gonna be Saturday morning in Australia. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Do we also have both squirrels here?
yes, we had Squirrel Hermit. I don't know if he's still here, and Grim Squirrel. So we've got two squirrels as well. So two Strines and two squirrels. So there we are. Oh, Grim Squirrel. Of course, Grim Squirrel is Australian as well. So 3 Australians.
Ah, fucking aye.
Bloody hell, mate.
We're all going back to the
Was that good?
prisons now.
Was that good, guys?
Yeah.
The inmates are taking over the land.
I'm not taking hints from you, Mr. Can't do a Slavic accent.
No, I can't do a Slavic accent. No. Moi, je peux assez un français accent. Un
Your
accent
French accent
français.
is very impressive, I will say.
My français accent n'est pas très trop bad.
You don't swear? Well, then how are you Australian, I'm curious? What?
Squirrel Hermit. I know you're USA. You're Ohio.
Yeah, we're not too far apart.
No. I haven't mentioned to my wife yet about the idea of bringing her to America and doing a bit of a road trip.
I got grim seal of approval.
I'd like the idea of in a year or two when we got a bit saved, doing a bit of a road trip in America. But I've got to persuade the wife that visiting fellow nerds is a fun idea.
See,
because I feel like coming to America. I've been to Australia before. I've never been to America.
Hey, Beck, you know what Iman did with us? Yeah, I'm going to do that with someone else.
And I'd like you to come with me. Isn't she like,
do you know what? If I manage to save up enough money from, fingers crossed to get this job, then...
Don't feel offended, but I was talking about what I would say to her, not to you.
Oh, okay. Well, because I'm offended. No, I'm joking.
But no, I know she'd like to see America. That's the thing. So, but I don't know if she'd like the idea of a road trip visiting random people. Nerds.
A road trip in America is so different to a road trip here, though.
I can honestly say.
I mean, here you drive 5 hours, you're across the country. Over there, you drive 5 hours, you're in the same damn state.
Exactly. Yes. my wife, I talked to her about that, and she started laughing. She's like, I want to meet all your nerd friends.
Well, maybe if I come by myself, you'll meet me, definitely. If you're a DCC player, then get better. I quite enjoyed playing DCC. I quite liked it just as a change of pace. I wouldn't want to run it, but I quite enjoyed playing it. And you're wrong, Andy. Andy, here's your cultist. Harold, here's your cultist.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and Goodman Games are making 5e stuff in the style of AD&D, with none of the preaching. With they're converting old modules where they're allowed to, especially Judges Guild stuff, and their own little adventures that they write they're just like dungeons. You go in a dungeon and you explore the dungeon. It's old school D&D. So there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. It is Jeb, and I've backed Caverns of Thracia. Yes, there is a Kickstarter around at the moment. Let me have a little look.
So apparently there are 9 out of the 50 states that are bigger than the entirety of the UK.
I can believe that. None of them have more population than the UK. It shows our population density. I mean,
especially not Wyoming.
No, and Montana and around there. Yeah. But I know isn't California the most populous state at something like 35, 40 million?
The most populous would be California and Texas. The largest
it's about 30 million, isn't it?
Alaska.
Yeah, it's about 30 million, 35 million, isn't it? And we've got pushing 70 million here in the UK. We're a little bit congested. The
thing is, California, the state alone, has the 5th highest mercantile business, whatever, in the world.
Yeah.
In just one state.
And that's largely because of Silicon Valley, isn't it?
That, Los Angeles.
Straw Piglet's from California, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
Too bad they're like pretty much all communists, and we call it California here in the U.S.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
Heard that. Hello, Kabuki.
Yeah, California is pretty pop. Florida's very, very popular, especially in the southern part, like the southern half of Florida.
New York is quite heavily populated as well, isn't it?
Eastern New York City, New Jersey, yes. You go from Boston to New York City, down into Jersey, down into DC. It's all just one big city.
Yeah, I know the eastern seaboard of America is quite heavily populated.
Yeah.
But sort of southwest is quite popular, where you've got Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, all that, San Jose, all that sort of area. That's
Squirrel Hermit's from Ohio.
He is, yeah.
And then you have where I'm from, where we have 1,500 people in my town and 3,500 people in the county.
Hello, Slan. Well, I am from Birmingham in the UK, the UK's second largest city, and we have 1 million people.
Or you guys might say Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Birmingham, whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I live on the edge. I mean, I'm officially under Walsall Council, which is another town to the north of Birmingham, but my postal code is Birmingham, so I'm right on the border.
That's interesting.
The whole built-up area, the West Midlands conurbation, is about 2.5 million people, which is about the size of Greater Manchester, which is a conurbation, but Manchester is about 400,000. Is that right? I think. So Manchester as a city isn't particularly big, but it's in terms of the conurbation, it's about the same size as Birmingham's conurbation. So that's how it works over here. Birmingham
it's also slightly skewed because of the amount of universities and students there. In like Manchester and Birmingham.
Yeah. Birmingham is indeed the birthplace of heavy metal. Is indeed. A lot of great bands have come from Birmingham, and the West Midlands, or Coventry, which is near Birmingham, was the birthplace of the British ska invasion in the late 70s. And that was Two Tone, which was like a punk ska crossover, which was fantastic.
This is an honest question. Did Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple both have studios in that town?
I don't know about Deep Purple. I know Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath both did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think Deep Purple did also, but I may be wrong.
They could have done.
I like Deep Purple. Perfect Strangers was an amazing album.
There's a Birmingham in Alabama, apparently. Hello, Manel.
I know there's a Birmingham in Alabama. I know.
They stole it.
Actually, yeah, there is, and they have trying to think. I don't think it's their football team, but they have a really good college team down there too. Maybe it is their football team. I can't remember.
Kabuki Kid seems to have confirmed that Deep Purple did indeed have a studio there.
Oh, thank you, Kabuki.
Or maybe she's just saying that she loved the bands.
But can the UK boast of being the birthplace of Nickelback? Aren't they Canadian?
They are.
Jeb says Deep Purple.
Hey, Halakar, what concert would only cost you 40 cents? Or 45 cents? Yeah, 45.
What's that?
It's a really shit joke.
Yeah, I'm guessing that. I'm waiting for the punchline.
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kabuki Kid got it.
that is such an old dad joke, but it's still funny.
Kabuki Kid got it. That was well done.
That's yeah, I forgot that one. That's funny. Thank you for the laugh. I appreciate that.
But no,
That's what I'm here for.
Birmingham's had a lot of good music throughout the years, and we had a lot of good bands in the 60s coming out of Birmingham. Ever heard of Spencer Davis Group? Keep on Running, Give Me Some Lovin'. Big hits in the 60s, part of the British invasion of America.
Oh, I know 10cc.
10cc of Cream. You know Spencer Davis. They were from Birmingham. They were from my part of the world. Great band. Is that meant to say 10cc or Cream? I prefer Cream to 10cc.
That Eric Clapton's band, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I was never a big 10cc. I mean, 10cc. They're both a bit before my time, but listening back to both of them, I do prefer Cream to 10cc. 10cc of Cream would be about 45 cents. Oh, right. Okay.
Dun 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 do 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 do.
Cream. Yes.
I've been waiting so long.
Absolutely. There's people quoting a bit of Madness early on. Madness was sort of like the pop side of ska. I mean, I like Madness. The best Madness song, in my opinion, if you've never heard it, check out Night Boat to Cairo. And check out the music video they did for it. They're in a studio. It's obvious they're in a studio. They're dressed up like desert army types. They've scattered a little bit of sand across the desert, across the studio floor. But the problem is they were a young band who are known for a bit of hell raising, and the music company, the shooting was delayed a bit, so they went to the pub beforehand. And they make no attempt whatsoever at making it look authentic. They are just pissed as farts, arsing around. Halfway through the video, a dog runs across the set. It's the cheesiest, cheapest, silliest music video you can imagine, which makes it just a work of genius. It's just genius.
Oh, yeah, it would be, yeah.
It's absolutely, it just sums up the band Madness. Check out Night Boat to Cairo by Madness. I'd put it on the stream right now, but unfortunately, when I run through StreamYard through Firefox, it doesn't play audio. You have to go through Google Chrome, and I use Firefox, so I'm afraid I can't put it on and play. Hellraiser's a good track. Sweet, were ahead of their time. But when it comes to ska stuff, well, the British, the Coventry sort of ska scene, Gangsters by the Specials is probably my favourite track. I absolutely love it to bits. I like Mirror in the Bathroom by The Beat as well. I don't care about copyright strikes, to be honest. I haven't monetized this stream, so it doesn't matter. It only matters if I monetize it, in which case they get the money for it. There's no ad revenue coming in, so the money is zero. Ha!
This is just for fun, believe it or not.
It's just for fun, yeah. There you go. Yeah, pith helmets to you too, Robert Phillips. Pith helmets to you too. But yes, that's exactly what they're wearing in it. Baggy trousers. Remember singing that at school. Yeah. But Indeed. It was ska music in Britain, that sort of 78 to 81 era, was just a lot of fun. It was a fringe of punk. It was called two-tone because most of the bands had black and white members, and they wore black and white. The whole idea was you could mesh white music with black music and have a lot of fun with it. And it worked. It worked brilliantly. So there you go.
See, we can all get along.
We can all get along. We can make some good music with it.
And music is one of those things that, you know, it goes beyond cultures.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Like food and music, the two biggest things, I think, that can transcend culture boundaries.
Of course. Yeah.
That's the one thing, and it's kind of funny you guys say that. Even in my marriages, although I'm fortunate, my wife and I agree on politics and religion and gun control. But I've learned that's three things you do not discuss. And I started this 33 years ago. When I go out, I do not discuss politics, guns, or religion when I'm out. Because some people get so triggered that you can't have a conversation. Like the other day, I forget what we were talking about, and everybody was cool.
Well, the thing is, you can have those discussions, but you've got to be aware of who you're having the discussion with.
Exactly.
And if you're having a discussion with someone who's sensible and mature and able to argue a point of view without getting all wound up, then you can have a really interesting discussion and you can learn shit. You can learn a lot of shit.
Yeah, look, like if you get into a conversation with me about firearms and gun control, I will honestly tell you, I will push back very hard.
The thing is,
but
Daniel,
I won't be insulting.
The thing is, I've discussed it with you, Daniel, and I think we both come to the agreement we've grown up in different cultures.
Exactly, that's part of it also.
And that is the difference. If you were to come to Britain, you'd probably feel feel odd.
I'd be totally out of line.
But after a strap on you, yeah.
If you came to America, if you came to my hometown right now, like my house, you'd be like, "What the hell's going on?"
I would be, yeah. But I'd think if I was there for a couple of weeks, I'd probably get accustomed to it. And if you were here in Britain for a couple of weeks, you'd probably get accustomed to it.
I wouldn't be happy, but I would deal with it. I mean, like when I go to a business that has a sign that says "No guns allowed," I laugh and walk in anyhow. My wife is like, my wife thinks it's hilarious. I'm like, yeah, okay. Here's my handgun because I know the doctor is going to feel my stomach and I have to take my handgun off. Other than
Halakar, I just want to respond to what's going on with the uprisings over there. Okay, right.
Over where?
Where do you think? On this little island here?
We've had, I don't know if anything's happened tonight, but last night, one community in a very small part of a city turned over a police car and set fire to a bus. It happened in one little street, didn't extend to any of the houses, nobody was hurt, and it didn't extend to any main roads, and it was soon finished.
Okay, now my question is why?
Why? Right. This is where you get into dodgy territory. The official description is that social services tried to remove 2 children from an address.
Okay.
Now, that tends to happen when there's violence or abuse in the household or drugs in the household.
Yeah.
And the family apparently kicked off. And then other people in the community joined in.
Oh, so they rioted because the people were abusing their kids or were a shitty household.
We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. But looking at the pictures of the aftermath, it didn't extend beyond one bus being set on fire and a police car being rolled onto its side.
Well, I'm not saying that it's a good thing.
It's not a good thing. No, it's idiots.
But it's idiots. It's a good thing it was that small, because over here we had police departments getting burnt.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at, I looked at YouTube today, and some channels on YouTube would make you think that the entire north of England was ablaze. It was one bus on one back street in a corner of a city, and it didn't go beyond that, which is still not good. I'm not justifying it. I think
it did not go beyond that.
I think the people involved were knobheads. They shouldn't have done it, and they should face whatever jail time is coming to them.
Correct. Exactly.
But it never got beyond that. But I'm still going to say that the councillor of that ward is a knobhead, because he
be careful.
He got in on a Green Party ticket as a Green Party councillor. But if he's a member of the Green Party, then I'm 6'4" and 25 years old. He got in because he got the votes from the local community. And I don't believe that he has any form of green agenda.
He's a rhino. That's what we call him over here. You go in as a Republican and then you do everything Democrat.
We have a number of councillors who've got in on the Gaza agenda over here. And we do have we have pockets of certain cities that are heavily Muslim. And hello. And those pockets have voted in a number of councillors who've got in on the Gaza agenda, but who have masqueraded as members of a party or have gone in as independent.
Yep. Yeah.
There are 5 of them. Was it 5 or was it 4? 4 or 5 of them in Parliament, which means they're not going to have much of a say. They're not aligned to any party. You could argue whether it's a good or bad thing that each community is getting their own vote. But I think once the Gaza situation has been resolved, if it is resolved, once it quietens down, I think they'll be redundant in Parliament. So, but this particular guy in this part of Leeds, he got in as allegedly a member of the Green Party, and I don't think there's anything he's got anything to do with the Green Party, and I don't think it's.
I wouldn't think so either.
No.
Based off what he's done, no.
No, exactly. So that's just me talking from a evidence-based, pragmatic background. I'm not trying to stir anything up or anything, but that's just what I've seen.
Oh, Rhino and Dino. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Okay, I didn't know that those were terms, but I learned today.
Yeah, no. A Rhino is somebody that goes in, is one party member, but is actually the opposite party member.
Paul, I take it you're from the UK as well, then?
I don't know. Is he? He's talking as if he's from the UK. Paul, are you British? Are you British?
That's the inkling that I got. Let's see if I pass my psychology roll.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into politics, though. I mean, I've answered Halakar's question. It's been blown out of all proportion. It's a small pocket of idiots being idiots, doing what idiots do.
It was
I think you actually get a more or should I say slightly less biased view of the news on YouTube as opposed to the actual news.
To be honest, what I've seen on YouTube hasn't been unbiased. It's been bollocks mostly.
From what John, to sum it up, from what John just described, it's a crap hole family. They got called on, and then they decided they didn't want to be responsible, so they raised the ruckus.
That's what the initial reports are saying. I mean, obviously, more stuff might come out about it.
Yeah.
We don't. Hey, fellow Brit, Paul, fellow Brit.
You're
Which
northerner. You're
which part
southerner. You're midlander.
Which part of UK? If you're from north, where Iman's
You're
from.
around my ends, pal.
Where are you from? Round by Midlands. Or you could be you are type from down in the southwest, or from Bristol or Bath. That's where Dorset. That's where Andy's from. That was a terrible Dorset accent. That was awful. The desire to be a politician should. I think this sums it up.
Do you know what? That's fair. Because I've never wanted to be a politician, but I reckon I could do a better job. Not all of them, but
I don't know about that. You'd be too busy behind the shed.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That'd be part of my policies. Everyone gets a shed in the backyard.
Free sheds for everybody. No, I mean, I'm not. My mom used to say to me, "You should be a politician," but you know what I say to that? Bollocks.
I wouldn't have. I
say bollocks.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for that.
No, I don't have the patience. I don't suffer fools very well. My biggest weakness is if someone is being an absolute knob, I'll tell them. Is that a weakness? I don't know. I mean,
it depends which side you're looking at it from. If I'm on your side, which most of the time I'm the same, then no, that's not a weakness. That's a strength.
Yeah. Oh, Paul's from across the border. Which border? The Welsh or the North? The northern border.
Paul,
Scots or Welsh?
I reckon. Not Welsh.
No, I think Morgan. Morgan is a Welsh name. Morgan is a Welsh name.
Hang on, I'm trying to think of the name Paul in a Scottish accent and also in a Welsh accent, and thinking which one sounds better.
I'm now hoping he's Welsh.
No, all right. I'm on Scottish. You're on Welsh, yeah. Let's see who's right.
My thing is, I was in retail management.
Fucking Paul Morgan.
How do you know?
I can't.
Because if Paul is Welsh, I'm going to start showing pictures. And you know what sort of pictures I'm going to start showing.
Leave the sheep alone.
Nothing to do with sheep, you knobhead. Let's see if I can get into my Facebook account on this machine. I can't remember. There we are. You know what picture I'm going to show if. Oh, go away! Ad block pop up.
I don't know. Stay away from the sheep, Andy. Their fur looks like porridge.
So, are you Welsh, Paul? Are you Welsh? Please say you're Welsh.
Nah, I reckon he's a straight up Scottish lad.
No, Morgan.
Damn it!
Don't hold that against him.
Right. Okay. I'm going to show you a picture now, Paul, and I hope you approve.
And you can knit them. That's correct. You can.
I really hope you approve of this picture, Paul, because I'm proud of it, and there's a bit of Welsh.
Yeah, he's doing this just for you, like.
There's
a Geordie. What am I doing?
Which part of Wales? We go on holiday to Wales every year, but we go to the Barmouth area, go to Llanbedr.
Did you hear that pronunciation there?
There we go. Look at this. Right. Have a look on the bonnet of this car. Look at that. Look at the bonnet of this car. What is that?
It looks like a car to me.
What is on the bonnet of that car? It's a Welsh Dragon. You can't see the roof from here, but the roof has Wales Air Ambulance stickers on it. Right? The car was built originally by a Welshman.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is.
And purchased by two brothers from Birmingham in 2008 and competed in British rallying for 6 years. And I'm the driver.
Cool.
There we go. There we go. I drove that car through all the good Welsh forest, Gathainog Forest, and I drove it over Epont, and I drove it through Dyfi Forest. I drove it through Clocainog, Penmachno, all of those sort of places, which are places that Paul might be familiar with. I don't know. But hey ho, there we are. The A470 in Wales is my favourite road in the world. Wales was my second home when I was competing. So if Paul's still here, there you go, Paul. That's
He's
something
the
to
other end of Wales.
You're the other end of Wales. Oh, you southwest tip or Pembrokeshire, that sort of area. South Wales, Swansea, Cardiff, the Gower Peninsula, that sort of area, or Anglesey.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, I've competed at Anglesey Circuit as well. So,
been to Bangor as well.
But no, I've competed. I've competed in around Caerwent, MOD land, which is South Wales. I competed at Pembrey Circuit, which is right at the very south of Wales as well. So I've been all over Wales competing, all over. The only place I haven't been is probably Aberystwyth sort of area, because it's too far southwest. But hey ho, a lot of fun was had in that little car. Anyhow, how long have I been streaming for? Talking nonsense.
Just over an hour.
Just over an hour. And yeah, but no, we rebuilt that. My brother had an accident in the car. We rebuilt it, but we vowed when we rebuilt it to re-sticker it in the way that the original guy had stickered it. So we bought new stickers, Wales Air Ambulance and Dragon and everything, to re-sticker it back up how it was. Because it got badly.
The spirit of the original alive.
Yeah. The A470 is beautiful. The A470 is such a good drive. Up through Snowdonia. But the A458 is good as well. The A458 through Welsh Pool and out west towards Machynlleth is gorgeous. But is in Cardiff. Right. But no, we sticker that up to keep it within the spirit of the original. After my brother had the accident, he swears to this day that something failed on the car. I know for a fact that he was gunning it down the lanes.
I'm assuming you've tried to tell him as much as well.
Yeah. Nothing broke. There was nothing broken. The rear axle hadn't failed. There were no bearings had seized or anything. The brakes still worked fine. He hadn't had a puncture.
Sometimes you need a bit of delusion, though, just to allow yourself to carry on living.
He was doing 60 mile an hour down lanes that he wasn't familiar with on a cold, dark, wet night. That's what went wrong.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, the only way it could have been worse is if it was in Stoke.
Why is that?
Cold, wet, windy night in Stoke.
Am I missing something?
Oh, it's just a joke about football. There's like, yeah, you know, Barcelona are good, but could they do it on a cold, wet, windy night in Stoke? That sort of thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Anyone in chat got any gaming topics to talk about? Because I'm only going to stream.
You haven't heard about my heroic game yet.
Oh, go on, tell us. Tell us about your heroic game. Did you die?
No. So,
hello, Dirty
hello. I'll just give you a brief recap. Obviously, everyone had their own perspectives, didn't they? But Saxius did an excellent job GMing. Like, first game that I've played him with Saxius as GM, and it's fantastic. He wasn't mean to us.
Yeah. Saxius is a really good GM. Okay, he does have a mean streak. But I think I think mean is the wrong word. He firmly believes in the consequences of your actions, and he doesn't hold back.
Unforgiving, maybe, instead of mean.
Yeah,
I don't know, but he's not a bad thing anyway. But yeah, so it all basically started off. There was we're all just chilling, doing our own thing. I was in the library. Another one was in the dojo. Another one was just walking down the street, and we hear like a radio announcement. Oh, sorry to interrupt this broadcast, but there's a bank robbery going on. So at that point, obviously, we all do our hero thing. So my guy used his powers of invisibility and flight to sort of just overlook the scene and see what was going on. One of our other characters was hopping from roof to roof till he got to the bank. And another one was in a taxi. And he went, "Taxi driver, go that way." Yep. So we all got to the bank. I took out a guy that was on the roof. Then the other guys came up to the roof. We searched him for ID, and we saw that he had a tattoo on his arms of like ants, which was really weird. And then we ended up breaking into the bank through the roof of the building. And then there was, I think, 4 or 5 dudes, and we took them out. I used my telekinesis and psionic bolts. Other guys used their fighting skills. One tried to throw a grenade at them without pulling the pin out, but because I was invisible, he ended up throwing it into the back of my head, which dealt me 10 damage.
Oh.
So that was funny. Then we got to the bit where the bank vault was, and basically we saw pretty much a shit show. Like safety deposit boxes everywhere, money, gold, coins everywhere. We see a leader, and we see this guy who's built like a brick shithouse. And at that point, the leader sees us, notices we're superheroes, and goes, "Okay," and then puts himself into like this, fight mode basically, and he starts summoning like clones of himself. So we're trying to like take down the clones and get through to the leader. One of the other characters ended up somehow taking down the brick shithouse. I don't know how he did it. I dealt some psionic bolt damage to the clones, and then we got to the leader, who, by the time we got to him, we'd messed his guys up so much that he just went, I surrender, please just don't hurt me." And so one of us restrains him, and at that point we find out that he doesn't really have a body, and he's just a writhing mass of ants.
Mm-hmm.
So then there was like one giant ant in the center, which seemed to be like the heart of it, or you know what I mean. So I took that giant ant. I didn't touch it. I used my telekinesis to just lift it up, put it inside a safety deposit box, and locked the box and marked it for the police, for when they arrived or whatever. So then I was just cleaning up the safety deposit boxes and putting them back into place with my telekinesis and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the police arrive, and I turn around. The other 2 guys have gone. So the police are just there, pointing their guns at me. "Put your hands up." I'm like, I'm sorry. It wasn't me. The threat's already dealt with. At that point, they question me, and I try and give them as much information as I can without dobbing over the 2 others. And they go, "Well, how did you even get into this building? We didn't see you." And at that point, I basically proved to them that I'm a superhero by poofing invisible and then poofing back visible. And they were like, "Oh, okay, so you're a superhero. Okay, that makes sense, blah, 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 and start questioning me. And they said, yeah, we'll call you back for evidence at some point. But yeah, that's basically where the session ended. We stopped a bank robbery.
Oh, well done, you. Did you get any karma?
We did. We got, oh, God, we got a lot of karma. 185 karma in total.
Each?
Yes, each.
Wow.
So 100 for turning up to the session, and then 20 for something, 20 for something else, and then 45 for spoiling solving the situation.
I'm going to have a word with Saxius, because 100 for turning up to the session is nonsense.
I think that's what it was. But the thing is, it's meant to be spent quite freely. It's not like luck.
I suppose. Yeah.
So for a single roll, you could need to use 90 karma, for example. And then if you're doing extra attacks like I was, you get 4 or 5 per round, then you have to make each roll. So, it can add up quite quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know if I've even done that any justice, or if I've just been rambling, but hopefully that gave everyone a good idea.
Yeah, it sounds like you had fun.
It was fun. I'm not really into the superhero thing, but the hard work that Bear has put in really does show. It's like a real passion project, and you can tell a lot of love has gone into this.
Yeah.
And the mechanics are actually quite intuitive once you get your head around them.
Well, it's based on a very, very simple, fluid game, which the Marvel Superheroes game. It was not everybody's cup of tea, but the having it all based on one table just made the game flow. And he's stuck to that ethos. Yes, he's tweaked around the edges, but he's stuck to that ethos. So that's what he's recreated it in the spirit of the original and just tidied up the wonky bits, and that's good. Yeah,
it does feel quite streamlined. It feels like the detail isn't in the game mechanics necessarily. It's more in what the players can do to bring the characters to life.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, so we weren't obviously going too specific into detail with everything we were doing, but we had to be specific enough.
Yeah.
No, it's not like I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but Call of Cthulhu is kind of a blanket thing where you pass a spot hidden and then you find whatever it is. You don't then do another spot hidden to find something else. Do you know what I mean?
You can do in some instances.
But if it's a harder and extreme, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's assumed that you've searched thoroughly and you found everything pretty much, right? Whereas here, it's no, you have to actually say what you're going to do specifically.
There have been a couple of things you found in Orient Express where if you've rolled really well on the first one, you then get a chance to find something else later on. I just haven't told you that's the case.
Okay.
And you just happen to have nailed those checks.
But similarly, it's not a case where I want to check here. Okay, roll. Oh, I want to check behind the window. Roll. I want to check under the table. Roll. You know what I mean? It's not one of those.
No.
It's just you explain what you want to do in as much detail as you can without obviously going overboard. And then Saxius is okay, yep, do this against this. Yeah. It's quite simple.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's what Marvel Superheroes was like in that style. It was the whole resolution thing was easy, and Bear has tweaked it so that it's a little more logical by the sound of things.
So, for example, if I'm using telekinesis, that's my, my psyche versus their strength to hold on to the weapon, for example, if I'm trying to hold a weapon out of their hand, something like that.
Yeah.
Or if I'm using my invisibility and they're trying to perceive me, then that's, their intuition versus my whatever power rank my power is.
Yes. But that's the way the original worked.
That sort of thing. So everything makes sense.
Yes.
There's a situation where, I don't know, whatever you can think of, there is a role that you can do. You just have to explain it well enough. That makes sense. But yeah, it's good. I like it. It's actually
I'm glad.
GM.
He is, yeah. I mean, I know he moans about me bringing up the Shadow of the Demon Lord game that he ran for us, but we had a lot of fun, and he did allow it to happen, and he went with it. And we did everything we could as goblins to derail it completely. It was just bonkers carnage, and he rode with it. And fair play, he made it work.
So my character is this little dude that you see on screen now.
Yeah.
His name is Chadwick Maximilian, aka Chad Max.
Chad Max.
AKA Quantum Logic. That's his superhero name.
Andy, you've been reading the 5e version of When a Star Falls in the new WotC book. Have they expanded on it? I'd like to know what they've changed, because there were the enemies in it had odd skills, and they were meant to be not generic. And one thing about 5e conversions is they tend to be quite generic at times. So I'm hoping that they've stuck with the fact that there were some very unique enemies in there. Keep chatting, you lot.
Okay,
You've all
okay.
gone silent. You've all gone silent by the way.
No, I'm here. Blah 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 blah.
Because I just wanted to go and grab this. That's the adventure Andy's on about.
Okay. So what version is that? The one that you have?
That's the original AD&D version from 1984, 5.
Is that 1E then?
Yes, 1984. 1984. Well, I have an original copy here. Nice maps. Those were the original maps that came with it. You had another. Remember, this is a 32-page adventure. So look at how many maps and how many areas there are. And the booklet itself is. That's the adventure. That's one of the new monsters at the back. Yeah.
Is Dan still there? Dan, are you there?
He appears to have wandered away. I mean, that's some of the original
No, I'm
artwork.
still here.
Okay.
There's some of the original artwork in it.
I'm watching the news, so I muted so you guys wouldn't have.
Okay. One of the things I really liked about this adventure is it's a UK module, Richard. It's a UK module written by Graham Morris, who I believe is probably the most consistently good module writer of the era, of the TSR D&D era. He came up with some really good ideas. That picture was the druid, yes. That was what's his name? Derwith. Welsh name, Derwith. Details of Derwith and his household. There we go. But yes, that is the druid. Who's an interesting character. And it has Darrow. Nasty little buggers. It has. That's a crap encounter. That's the worst encounter in the game, in my opinion. The ones with the hunters. Worst encounter of the adventure. Monks. In 5e, the druid is. Why? Why, Andy? Why?
Oh, you're gonna get him upset.
Why do they change these things? Didn't need to be changed. Doesn't need to be changed.
No, I do agree. That's pointless.
Okay, it doesn't make. It doesn't make a difference in the way the adventure pans out. But why do they do it? That's the question I ask. Why do they do it?
Later, how?
And if your answer to that is why not, you just don't get it. You don't get it. Yeah, say Andy, it doesn't break the scenario. It doesn't break the scenario. So yeah, why not? But equally, why? And the reason why they do it is,
there's an argument to be made that if it doesn't change anything, why would you change it?
Yeah, that's my point. And they're doing it to score political points, to try inclusivity. Yeah, you're right with that. Are WotC Adventures better than Goodman Games re-release books? No. Flat no. Goodman Games don't make changes to fit the current political climate.
WotC are the guys that do Magic the Gathering as well, right?
They are, yeah. WotC have a quota system, an inclusivity quota system, which, look, I have no problem with different races, genders, sexualities, whatever, as long as it makes sense and is meaningful for the adventure. If it's not meaningful for the adventure, then don't even mention it. Just let the DM make their decision on how it works. Simple as that. But unfortunately, WotC have a quota system, which they have openly admitted. So they will make sure that there's a certain percentage of so-and-so, a certain percentage of so-and-so, whatever, in every product they do. And I disagree with that. If it's meaningful, make it part of the story. If it's not meaningful, it's done just to score points.
Like I said, it's like ticking boxes, isn't it?
Absolutely.
How many boxes can we tick? Do we have a female character? Tick. A black character? Tick. An Asian character?
Absolutely.
Tick.
Absolutely.
Gay character? Tick.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to go.
I don't have a problem with any of those. It's just,
yeah.
Why would you put them in just for the sake of ticking a box? You know what I mean? There has to be a reason for it to be the way it is. Like in Bear's campaign, like I'm not just a brown character for no reason. There's a reason that my character is that way.
Yeah.
I didn't just go, oh, well, I'm brown, so I'm picking a brown character. In Call of Cthulhu, my characters have been white. It's not a question of race. It's a question of whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Daniel?
Well, no, we discussed this last night, I believe. I don't care who you are. I just want the best. And I've discussed this. I can't remember if it was you, John.
I think it was after OSE on last Saturday. I think it was us.
Yeah, but
because that's when the shooting happened.
Yeah, but the subject came up of me playing a female character. I'm like, honestly, I can't do it. It's not that I'm chauvinistic. Maybe I am partially a lot. But it's like, well, because the character I rolled up would have been great for a female type of character, but I'm like, I can't play a female character.
See, so, I don't have any issue with playing a female character. I've done it. I don't choose to do it very often, but I've challenged myself and done it from time to time. I don't say I'm any good at doing it, but I see it as a challenge. And
it all depends on your mindset, and being where I grew up and the way I grew up, you know, it would be hard. I think I've played one, and that was many years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. I got off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I mean,
sorry if I went off on a bit of a rant there. It's just, you know, as someone, you know, of color, if you want to say, like, people get offended on my behalf, and it's like, I'm not offended. Why are you?
No, I don't think anybody on this channel or who gets on these chats gets offended about anything. We're all pretty open-minded.
That's the thing. Yes, I think we are. I think that's right.
I mean, we all have different degrees of whatever. You know, I'm very pro-gun, but I can understand your side, even though I'll argue back.
Yeah.
You guys, it's...
Because we're from different cultures, we're from different societies, different cultures.
Correct.
Is the way we're growing up here.
That's why I tell people when I talk about our Saturday games like it's awesome. We have a guy from Australia. Half of them are from the
Canada,
UK. We got
UK and
two
Canada
guys from
mostly.
Canada. We got a guy in Texas or Arizona. You got me and
Manfred's American, lives in Germany.
yeah.
Nosorian's Mexican.
We're so diverse that it's amazing, and
But
I
we get
really
on.
like that about the
We get
group.
on. We get on, and that's
Because
all
we
that
don't
matters.
focus on our differences, we focus on our similarities.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
It just says here, Grim Squirrel is female. For those who don't know, check out her channel.
I didn't know she had one. Well, actually, maybe I did.
She doesn't like playing female characters. It's down random preference. It's all down to personal preference.
Okay.
The thing, I would probably play a female character here and there because I've not done it yet. Maybe just to see how it is, like what differences there would be. But there wouldn't be any other than the voice that I put on.
I have two things. Grim Squirrel, what is your channel?
It's just Grim Squirrel.
Grim Squirrel.
Okay. And if I played a female character, I would honestly make it up as either my wife or my daughter. And I would play them as is, and you guys would not be happy.
Just going to bring up what Ralph says here. Exactly. In the early 90s, I lived in Leeds, where the troubles have happened recently in Britain. I lived there for 5 years, and in 92, 93, I lived in a mainly black area. And at that time, I had dreadlocks.
Say what?
I had dreadlocks.
No, that's
do you know
mad.
how
I need to see
do you know
that.
how much do you know how much trouble I got for having dreadlocks in a majority black area?
Hey, what the fuck you playing there, man?
Do you know how much trouble
I don't know why they're American. Sorry.
Do you know how much trouble I got? None whatsoever. In fact, the amount of times I got invited into people's front rooms to smoke spliffs with them is unbelievable.
Just my type of people.
Absolutely. It was the sense of there was a sense of camaraderie. It was like respect, man. That was the approach I got. That's what a lot of people said. Exactly. Well, no one got offended back then. Precisely.
Well, I mean, people got offended at stuff that was actually offensive and not, just...
Yes. Precisely.
Everything.
Precisely. Let me describe my hair when I was 22, 23 years old. My hair is naturally curly. It's all fallen out on the top, as you can tell. But when I was 18, when I was 17, 18, I started growing it. And when I was like 19, 20, I just let it form into dreadlocks and just sort of parted them. And they weren't properly put. They were messy. And then one of my friends thought it'd be a really good idea to give me like a shaved head underneath. So I shaved grade 1 around the sides and the back, and there I tied my dreadlocks. And by the time I cut them off, they hung down to there, middle of my back.
Fucking hell. Is that John or is it Snoop Dogg?
But back then, I mean, I used to go to a lot of dodgy underground clubs, drink Newcastle brown ale in the middle of the afternoon, and there'd be 10 people in the club, and 5 of us would be drunk on the dance floor. It was those sort of places, real dives. And they used to play music like Ministry, Big Black, 9 Inch Nails. The song "So What" that Metallica covered. Can't remember who did it originally. If you've never heard the punk song "So What," Iman, listen to it. And I used to stand. I used to be in the middle of the dance floor, swinging around my hair like strands of wet rope. And it used to go, and it was, yeah, that was how I used to do. Anti-Nowhere League. That's it. Absolutely. Cheers, Paul.
On the female character thing, I mean, Andy did a fantastic job role-playing Eloise when we did the Dark Ages scenario.
He did, yeah. He did. You just got to try and play them naturally. Don't
force it.
Don't force it. No, just play them naturally. Yeah.
And he did a fantastic job. It was actually quite funny.
Richard, sadly, no pictures exist. The picture existed the day I cut my dreadlocks off.
Right. Well, then I say what Ralph said. Pixar, it didn't happen. It's
not in a digital form though. That's the thing. I'd have to scan it or photograph it. And it's at my mum's house.
And Paul said Snoop Yogg.
But no, I was skin tight jeans, ripped t-shirts, big army boots, and dreadlocks. That's what I used to look like.
Well, proper hard man, you.
Look at a typical.
You're rocking that, to be fair, though.
Look at a typical fan of the Levelers or New Model Army, and that's what you. I had a jumper that came down to my knees because it had stretched, and I'm only little, and it had a big red burn mark in the middle. I loved that jumper. I used to wear it everywhere. It was the most disgusting thing ever. It was filthy. I didn't care. I was a crusty. There you go, Ralph. A crusty. That is the word for it. That was the word for it. My mate jumper is a pullover, a sweater. It was one of them big, thick knitted ones. It sort of my sleeves came down to 3 or 4 inches.
Oh yeah, one of those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just far too. I just stretched. I'd won to tons of gigs and tons of festivals. It just got stretched out of all proportion.
Richard the Dungeon Crawler says you need an official Yogg plush toy with dreads.
The old Dennis the Menace jumpers, yeah, but Mom, it was just black. It wasn't striped; it was black. But yeah, the old Dennis the Menace type, yeah, that was one of those. But yeah, and I used to just go to dodgy clubs and drink. And
oh yeah, also a Yogg Thulu with tentacles.
So, as I mean, Iman's jealous of some of the gigs I went to around that time.
Yeah. Most notoriously Nirvana.
I saw Nirvana twice. I saw Shane McGowan play with the Pogues. I've seen 9 Inch Nails a couple of times. Iggy Pop. Who else did I see? I'm trying to think of people who in America, who the Americans would know. Most of them were British bands.
Who was Radiohead?
They were pretty good. I like them. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Do you know the story, Dan?
Do you know the story of me seeing Radiohead?
I think I've heard it.
When we threw things at them. And we saw they were a support band in a pub, and we threw plastic bottles and plastic glasses at them.
Oh my God.
And it was reported in the music news, NME or Melody Maker, whatever it was, a week later, that Radiohead had been, up and coming band Radiohead had been bottled off stage in a pub in Leeds. Yeah, it was me and my mates.
No, I've done stuff like that. Yeah.
One of the band. I mean, I was at the Reading Festival where the lead singer of L7 took a tampon out on stage.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was in the crowd for that. I used to like L7 as well. She did that because we were throwing mud at her. But we were doing that through love because it was muddy, and that's what you do. You just throw mud. Yeah. Well, oh well. Yes. I'm the reason why Leeds has a bad rep. Yeah. Sham 69.
Where do you think he got his northern accent from?
Where I lived in Leeds for 5 years. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Aye, I lived up there. Lived on near Eddingley. Used to go out, drink beer. Used to go up Eddingley, watch cricket, you know.
It's a proper northern thing, innit? Missing out ancient words.
I mean, problem was my mates in house, they were big rugby fans, and I didn't like rugby league. So I mean, I weren't proper northern because I didn't like rugby league. I thought it was a bit shite, you know.
Yeah, you get found out quick, mate.
Yeah, right, too right. But I mean, Sham 69, classic, a talented punk band from the late 70s. Yeah. Check out some of their stuff as well, Iman. So you've got So What by the Anti Nowhere League and Sham 69 on to check out on your list of good quality punk stuff. Faith No More at the Barrowlands, when someone chucked a bottle of urine at on stage and Mike Patton downed it.
Oh my days.
Yeah. Quality stuff.
Bear
Quality
Grylls.
stuff. Anyway, I've got to go. It's coming up to 1 o'clock. We're nearly an hour past pumpkin hour, and I have work in the morning. I've got to be up for work in 6 hours. So
you're going to be a hurting unit, buddy.
I'm fine.
No, he's only had few. He'll be right.
I've only had 4 pints. Five.
No, I'm saying lack of sleep because
I had 3 pints of. It's summer, so I had a few ciders. I had 3 ciders and I had a couple of ales to finish. So yeah.
No, last time I was up to like 1 or 1:30, and then I had to get up at 5 o'clock.
Brace myself for So What. Well, I might have to add it to the list then.
Yeah, and then look at the Metallica version, and bear in mind that Metallica played it at the MTV Awards when they were
the original
Anti Nowhere League. But
Nowhere.
Metallica were told they couldn't swear on stage. They were told what songs to play, and so they completely ignored what they were told and played 2 songs of their choice, including their cover of So What.
Okay.
And they'd been banned from performing at the MTV Awards.
Oh, it's on Garage Inc. I might have heard it, but not remembered the name.
Yeah. Cheers. Anyway, thanks for joining us, chat. Thanks for joining me, Daniel and Iman. Always Metallica used to open concerts with it. That'll be a great way to open concerts. Great way.
Have a good night.
All right, so I'm going to head off because I've got to go to bed. But thank you for joining us tonight. Just had a bit of a good, nice little chat. But I'm going to go. So cheers all in chat. Nice to see you all. And I'll see you on the next one.
Take care, everyone. Good night. Cheers, John.